Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Talks a Lot Boys. I'm your host. My name is Tyler, and as always, I am joined by the boys. We've got Brennan.
What's going on, folks?
And we've got Kyle.
Hello, everybody.
Kyle's the only one who does not have a new studio set up. Fuck you, Kyle.
Maybe something new
Kyle.
soon. We'll see. I don't know. But yeah, I showed up today and everyone was looking hella tight. And I was like, oh, I'll probably still glitch from time to time. I'm not that cool.
It's okay. We'll get you to our level soon.
Okay.
But today, as you've read from the title of this video, we are going to be talking about the brand new Royal Coda album, To Only a Few at First. And I have to say, it's a pretty tight album. It's a pretty nice album, if I do say so myself. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I would like to hear your thoughts on this album, though, in general, in a broad sense, before we start breaking down these individual songs. So, Brennan, I'm going to pass it off to you first. What did you think of this new album from Royal Coda?
I thought it was very tasty. At times it gets a little abstract, but like it all comes together like in the writing process of the record. Definitely has some parts that like really catch my eye, that really kind of take it to the next level of like what Kurt Travis and Will Swan are capable of. And then the album also kind of it knows when to let itself breathe and like take a back seat, okay, let's back off this for a bit, let Kurt do his thing or let the vibe of the song take over. So, I mean, all in all, it's an excellent album as far as like knowing what to do when it needs to do it. So yeah, I mean, I dig it, dude. Excellent record.
I can get behind that. Tight. Kyle, where are you at?
Fucking love this album, baby. I really liked it. I completely agree with you, Brennan, on like almost everything you said. The way that like I see it is like it just takes you like in so many different directions, and still like you always feel like there's like a set destination at the end. I listened to Compassion a lot before I came and listened to this album, like in anticipation, and those like experimental like going out there on some bits definitely feels very in their wheelhouse for like what they did with that. So they're kind of sticking with the same sound from the last album, in my opinion, but they definitely like really showing off at times is how I felt in a lot of ways on this album. There's just times where like Kurt, Sergio, Will, fucking drum guy, his name Jason, is that his name? Can't remember.
I had it written down and I forgot it.
I think his name might be Jason Richardson. Might be crazy. Or Richard
sounds
Jason.
I'm gonna look it up because
Jason
we need to give
Richardson.
this guy...
You're talking about the Gent Boy, like the.
oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
No,
Damn.
his name is Joseph Arrington.
Oh, I guess I was actually kind of close.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, yeah, he absolutely kills. A couple tracks in particular really fucking kills. I think he has some really unique ways to switch things up that keep you kind of guessing on how a song's gonna go as well. But overall, it's just like a masterclass in so many different genres, which is so cool. They dip. It's so good, so good.
Yeah, that was like the big standout overall for me in this album was just the drums were so insanely tight, and I think I mentioned that on like the last reaction I did for whatever single that was. But like, yeah. This man is just an absolute drum god, and he is just putting on a clinic with this album. I mean, everything, all the instrumentals, everything about this band is just, like, clean as fuck. But the drums, specifically, to me, really stood out. And Sergio killing it on the bass, too. There's some bass riffs in here that just made me cum buckets, and I can't wait to talk about them. So we're going to dive right into it. We're going to start ranking these songs from worst to first, as we do here on the channel. And I guess I'm just gonna list them off in the order they appear.
Good luck.
And it's gonna sound like a fun little poem because all these lines are just very weird. The song titles are very long, but I'm gonna list them off in the order they appear, and then we're gonna dive into it. We're gonna start throwing shit at the bottom. So we have As We Fall Into Deep Waters. Number 2. We Slowly Lose Hope for Things to Come. Number 3, Insatiate the Senses. Number 4 is One Last Time Like Hypothermia. Number 5 is Screen Time Overload. Number 6 is To Only a Few at First. 7 is Malfunctioning Parts. 8 is Once Clinging to the Reeds. Cool. Next is It Found a Different Path. And finally, we have Where the Air Seemed to Cease. I feel like I just read a poem in English class in high school or something, and it's very esoteric and I don't understand it.
Can I just say I love the names? Like, at first,
Yeah.
I remember when I first saw the album, like, with all the track lists come up, I was like, Idola? But then I then, like, you know, on more listens to them and, like, actually reading the text of them next to it, I'm like, ooh, it's a little it's a little fun little story. I like it. It's fun. I love it.
Oh my gosh. All right, well, I'm going to hit you with the question I always throw out here at the beginning of these. What are we going to throw on the chopping block first? What is the absolute worst song on this album comparative to the other songs? Are there any songs that actively pissed you off? Or are there songs that you just think are slightly less good than the other songs?
I didn't dislike anything. I'll put that out there at first. I think this, in my opinion, this album has no skips. In my opinion. Definitely different vibes that maybe I'm not always into, but in general, no skips.
It's valid.
It's tough, though. Brennan, anything sticking out to you?
I guess the song I was the least fan of might be Malfunctioning Parts. Because it kind of, I don't want to say repetitive, but like it does like revisit like similar parts like very often throughout the track. Especially like Kurt Travis's like vocal performance in that. I mean that's like what stuck out to me about that track more than the others. Not that it's bad. I don't think it's a bad song. It's just like some of the things like they could have went somewhere else for like a little while and then like come back to it, but I don't know. That's like the only real song I can come up with like right this second. I mean,
I feel like that
disagree with
one,
me, please.
I feel like that one shouldn't be last. I feel like that one had enough like standout moments to me that it should push it ahead. Not saying it's gonna be like near the top or anything necessarily, but there were moments in that sort of had me going, oh, and there were other songs I think that had me doing that less.
I'd agree,
but it's hard to pick because I think all the songs have their merits.
There's only really one I'd throw out there, and it's very loose. It's a little bit more like personal bias.
Mm-hmm.
To only a few at first, the title track, to me it just didn't, like, there were a lot of like building moments in that song, and then the payoffs didn't really hit me as hard as some other songs, the way that like the build-ups would like land in a payoff. I don't think the song's structured poorly at all. I think the atmosphere in general of the track is like very like epic, and like there's some really awesome just like ins and outs and sways of especially the building verses in that song. But the fact that like the choruses are just like big, just like intense open notes after some noodly stuff, well, like objectively I can like it's good. It just, when every other track on this album just gives you the fucking noodliest of noodle guitar bits in every single chorus to just like really get me going. This one just doesn't hit as hard for me. I don't know if that's a good reason to put it at the bottom, but just opinion.
I mean, I can get behind that. I think that's the song I had the fewest notes for.
Fair.
So I can definitely get behind a lot of what you said there.
Yeah, that's a song that really didn't grip me either too well, but so I agree.
Yeah. I think just based on that alone, we could probably toss it at the bottom because it's not like it didn't do anything like offensive, but just the fact that like it didn't really do anything to really pull me into it like some of these other songs.
Yeah. I think that its strength is that it does give you like a very different taste for a moment. Like it does kind of take you out and give you a little bit more like an epic, like large, swelling moment in it all. I think that it's really nice in like an album to have that like level of, difference in sounds and everything. It does add a lot, but just don't think it really brings as much to the table.
That's fair. All right, well, we'll lock that in at I
Number
didn't count
10.
how many
10?
songs are in the 10. Okay, cool. We'll lock it in at 10.
It's a top 10 list, baby. Let's go.
Hell yeah. Wow, this is so much shorter than that last album that we reviewed.
I know.
This is
Jackpot
like literally
Juicer.
half the length of Jackpot
Holy
Juicer.
shit.
Oh, this is gonna feel so much easier.
Man, how does Will Swan do it?
I
Yeah,
know,
for
right?
Like,
Fucking banging albums at the same time is crazy.
Less than a month apart too, like for releases.
I know,
It's actually kind of
yeah.
nuts that they chose to do this way.
yeah, like,
Yeah,
like
I
he
saw
had
he
to
posted
been.
today about it. He was like, "Yeah, my second album in a few weeks. Like, this is pretty cool. Go check it out." And I'm like, "This man is just insanely talented. Like,
It's crazy.
how do you write 2 albums this intricate, like back to back? It's insane."
What a stud.
I'm gonna throw out here that one of the songs that also didn't grip me like a ton, and you can absolutely shoot this down if I am like out of line here, because I still think that this is a pretty good song, but I think that One Last Time, like Hypothermia, I think should be toward the bottom. I am not a huge fan of the spoken word bit. It's cool that they did it, and I respect if other people liked it. Just as a personal subjective thing, I was just like, I didn't sign up to be in the slam poetry club tonight. I kind of just want to go back to listening to real music.
I will say, to defend the song a little bit, this song does have one of the best intros, like, on the album. Like, how, like...
I
I
like,
can get behind that, yeah.
Yeah, like, everything's just, like, punching, and, like Kurt Travis is, like, you know, going off on, like, his vocal, like, range and stuff. Like, the first time I heard this song, I was like, whoa, this is epic.
Mm-hmm.
But then I get to the spoken word bit. It's like I'm in, was it 21 Jump Street?
That's honestly, it's exactly what I thought of too when I got to that part.
It's like, she died for our sin, Thea. like,
I was
come
just
on,
like,
dude.
man, I need like a turtleneck and one of those hats that no one wears, and just start snapping along to the beats. Like I just feel
Yeah,
it's very
like-
out of the element here.
Yeah, like some snap clapping, like, hell yeah, dude.
I will say though, like, there's some jazzy ass bass riffs in this song though.
They really are.
That I am very much into, but there's some jazzier bass riffs on other songs that I think outclass it, so I can't even really say that holds much weight in like placing it up higher. Also, Kyle, I know you hate when songs fade out, so I was fully expecting this one to be on blast immediately for you.
Fair.
Because it fades out. The ending was so cool, and then it faded out, and I was like, Kyle's not gonna like that.
Yeah. Yeah. See, okay. All right. So the reason why I'm kind of okay with this one is because that ending tag is kind of its own thing. Like, it doesn't feel like the song is like going somewhere, and then instead of ending somewhere, it just goes away. It like does its thing, shifts to the never, that whatever shit that happens at the end, like it just grooves off into the distance. Basically, I kind of I like the way like that structure for the song. I think kind of leans itself to it a little bit more. So it's not as much a knock for me. However, as far as the slam poetry goes, is how I refer to it on my notes. Is I think the idea is really cool. I don't hate it. However, it's way too distorted for me. Like there aren't many moments on this album where I think that like the decisions and the mixing are weird. But for this, it's just like there are moments where I can't tell what's happening. It's just like, and I'm like, oh, he's saying something. I don't know what's happening here. And I'm like, cool. Maybe a little overdone with the distortion, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's just a personal thing. I don't know.
No,
Overall,
I feel
though,
that. There were definitely times where it kind of sounded like he was gargling marbles underwater, and I was like, "Can you speak up like a little bit?" But you know, it's an artistic choice.
Yeah.
I can't like knock it too much.
Yet again, I feel like it's just another really cool like thing they tried to like give like round out the album and do different unique cool things to just keep you kind of on your toes. And I like that. I also think the song in general just kind of fucking hits. Like, I feel like if I see Royal Coda live and this song starts with like the fucking shouty bit that starts every chorus is like, it's gonna be so good. It's like, oh, I'm Also, there's like the before that like fade out drivey bit where like the guitars come together to like do like the and like it does like that little bit. It's it's I don't know. They nail it when they nail it, and then there are times they make decisions where I go eh. So it's also like the only song I have a knock on as much as far as like objectively with the mixing thing. So maybe it should go next.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was heading, because it's like, it's a good song, but like I think the fact that I have knocks against it should like put it at least in the conversation for what's next, because there are some songs that I have zero knocks against at all. Same. A lot of songs actually I have zero knocks against at all. So
same.
I'm gonna start sliding this one down into ninth place unless someone forces me to stop right now.
I'm okay with it being ninth, I think. It's really tough. I think that so many songs of this album fucking rip. That like, I wrote that in my notes so many times. I was like, oh, this fucking rips. I don't know why that was like the choice of words for this album, but there was just so many moments where like, whether it was right away or it was like halfway or near the end, I was just like, oh, it rips. So I don't know.
Oh, it rips.
I was hoping the song would have actually made it like decently high, but because for me, I mean, yeah, it has the one knock. Like, you know, I buy that, but every other part except like that one bit is like immaculate. Like, I
agree.
I love this song, like straight up, like.
That's fair.
That's the problem with albums like this, where like every song has so much to offer and it's so good. It's like we have to get so nitpicky with how we place like the bottom tier ones.
I can totally see where you're coming from, Brennan. Like I remember listening to it for the first time, and like that bit, like the overly distorted slam poetry stuff, took me out, and I went. I feel like after I finished the album all the way through, I was like, I feel like the only thing I could think of to like say something bad about a song is this, and I don't want to because the song really does hit really hard. But
yeah, I feel that.
But no, it is what it is, man. Like at the end of the day, we got business to do.
Yeah, we gotta keep plowing through. So, what do we think is gonna be coming up next? We still have 8 songs. Floating around in the ether that need to get put in line.
I know Brennan threw it out there before. I don't hate malfunctioning parts going here, personally.
Okay.
I can agree with that.
Can't really think of a ton of other ones I'd put under it, especially after what you said about it, Brennan. The song is really good. I really like malfunctioning parts. I think that main riff that hits right away and it's just like kind of within the song all the way through is really fucking groovy, which is another note I made all over the place in this album. But it's really groovy and it's really cool. I think the chorus is really catchy, but I can totally see what you're saying about it being a little bit more repetitive than others, just with the way it's, I think, written. I also think there are moments in this, like specifically, like I know that you said it, Tyler, where like there were moments in this that you really caught your eye. For me, it was what was it, the drive into the second chorus. There's like a moment where the drums like start doing like the offbeat hi-hats, and it's so good. I was like, ooh,
I had that in my notes too.
I'm so glad.
My big thing for this song was like the bass in the back of the pre-chorus is going fucking crazy, and it sounded so good. I loved it so much. And then same with the drums, just like in general. I think that like it's another example, and I talked about this a lot when I did my reaction to As We Fall into Deep Waters, but like the drums in this song too have a way of kind of like they just go ham the whole time. Like the song is kind of like ebbing and flowing and changing up into kind of like different vibes occasionally, but the drums are just fucking in it the whole time, just keeping up that energy, and it's just such a cool choice. And I'm so glad that they experimented with that like multiple times on this album, because it's so cool. And this is like one of those songs where that like really stood out to me too.
For sure.
But I'm not gonna fight for it to be like higher than this, because I think that there are still just better songs on the album.
That's fair. My biggest takeaway from the song, like I know I mentioned the drum thing because I knew that was probably what you were hype about, Tyler. But is I really like the writing from like especially the bridge onward of this song, where like it kind of drops down and then there's like the vocal slide to like bring the other instrumentals in with it.
Yeah,
it's really cool, like really unique way to like write that in, where like it's like layered vocals that then slide up, and as they slide up, everything's like what? It all comes back, and you're like whoa, and then it immediately transitions into the last chorus. I was like, that's really fucking cool. But I can see, like, especially when you compare it to other songs in the album, there are other songs that like do really cool drum stuff, that do some really cool like vocal stuff as well, and objectively maybe aren't as repetitive, like Brennan said. So
sure.
I also don't think I'll fight for it too much more than giving it its moment. It's cool.
Cool. So are we locking that in at 8? Is that what we're?
I think it's probably the wise move.
I'm down.
Okay, I think you're right. We'll lock that in, and we have 7 left. What we doing?
Fuck.
Here, do we want to do tabling, and then we'll have a top 3 and a mid 4? Or is there something that jumps out as something that should just very obviously be next?
You know, you bring up the mid 4, top 3, something that immediately like because like when you put in that perspective, where I'm like, what would be the mid 4? You know, what could possibly land in the mid? It immediately comes to mind as Screen Time Overload for me.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
I really love the track, especially on more listens. I think it is a fucking tragedy that it came out the exact same day as the other single, of which has the long title that I can't remember off the top of my head.
We're just gonna call the long one Slowly, because I don't want to say the name of it a million times because it's too fucking long.
Slowly. I like that. I'll forget that, but I like that.
It took up the entire character count of the fucking YouTube name when I had to do the reaction to it.
God damn.
I had to like strategically craft the title of that video to put that in.
Damn, all right.
But I definitely feel like it was pretty... I don't know who made that decision. Usually, I don't feel like that happens very often either, where you drop just like, here's the first 2 singles off the album. Blow! Like at the same time, here you go. And especially when one of them is like... Not to lean into what I'm thinking about placement for the other one, is godly, and then this other one is like a good song, great song. I like Screen Time Overload, but I really feel like it knocked the thoughts about the song immediately.
Yeah.
So,
and I know this is probably gonna piss a lot of people off for us saying this, because I did see some comments of being like, "Oh man, you gotta check out Screen Time Overload because it's like way better, man." And I just disagree. I think that objectively, like. We slowly lose hope for things to go. The Sentence song is just like immaculate, and Screen Time Overload is just really good. So I definitely think that Screen Time Overload is going to be in this mid 4.
Would you guys consider it being the next one? Or
I'm going to toss that question directly to you. I want to know what you think of this song specifically.
I mean, I like it. I do agree that it's definitely a mid 4 pick. If we're doing this like 7-song sandwich here, because I do believe it's better than the other 3 that are at the bottom. I mean, I'm a simp for One Last Time, but just that one bit, we're holding it down here. But I'm not too sure that it's much higher than that. Than what would be the 7 spot. Because I think like Sentence songs are just way better. And I can't really think of anything I'd put beneath it. So yeah.
Well, I guess for the sake of time, maybe we'll just throw that out, because I can't really think of another song to put directly underneath it either. Maybe something will come to light when we start like hashing out some of these other songs, but as far as like right this second, I can't really think of anything that jumps out.
You said something will come to light, and I was like, is that another song on this album? I was like, wait, which one's that? I don't remember that name. It just sounded like it fit right into the album.
Honestly, yeah. You're not wrong.
Don't get me wrong. Scream Time Overload's really good. Just as like a quick note about it, I really love the really distant high note in that last drive to the end from Kurt. He fucking kills it. That might be the highest note on the fucking album. It's crazy back there. I'm like, woohoo, he's showing off. It's really cool. I also like that it's like mixed in with like the shouty bits, so that it kind of like makes like this very like large crowd feeling, like, oh, hey, let's go. You know, it's really cool.
Can I just get that clipped so I can use that soundbite for like everything? From
anytime something cool happens, oh yeah, let's go. Yeah, I think overall, like, Kurt's vocal performance in it is very percussive, more so maybe than other tracks for me. That like it kind of like plays off of the guitar in a lot of cool ways that maybe some other tracks don't. But other than that, it doesn't do like anything crazy outside of those things for me.
Yeah, I agree. We'll lock that in for now. So now we have 6 remaining. So if we table now, we split that clean in half, baby.
Love that.
Fuck.
What are we tabling? Oh boy.
I'll let Kyle go first, since Brennan sounds like he doesn't know what he wants to pick.
I really don't.
This is tough, man. There's a couple that like I hold very, very high in my mind. Specifically,
I feel like there's one like really easy, obvious.
No,
pick.
I know, right? And like I could just not say it, and then one of you has to pick it, and then that just means, you know, I've got power here. I got.
So you're gonna try to like game the system, you know?
Here. Nah, fuck it. I'll do it. We slowly lose hope for things to come. Baby Sentence song. I'm gonna pick it. It's gotta be there.
Well, now I can't pick that. Brennan, what you got?
Oh, fuck me. All right. You know what? I guess I'll jump on this landmine. I'll pick Sentence song.
No, I just picked that.
Oh, you did? Fuck.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, yeah. I was like scanning through some tracks thinking like, what do I want to pick? Fuck. Jesus.
Sorry that makes things way harder now.
Yeah, I can go next if you want. You can go last if you need me to.
Yeah, please do so, because there's 2 I'm like battling with.
I'm gonna pick the album ender, guys. It sounds like you don't agree, but that's where I'm headed. That's where my head's at.
That's an interesting choice.
I have a major gripe with it, but
I also
really?
do.
I respect
I also
it.
kind
well,
of
then
do.
never mind. I won't table that one. Let's talk about this one now.
Well, damn.
What's the
I'm
major
down.
gripe?
Go for
the
it,
bassy part, like where the like towards the end of the track, I think it starts like 225ish, like where everything like backs off for a second, and it's just like the bass, like the dude's going like wicked on the hi-hat, and then like the guitar's kind of like soaring for a bit. Like that part is way too long.
I like that part.
see, like, yeah, like the bass is going ham. Like I'll give him that, but like, and the payoff is fantastic. But like, if they just trimmed off a little bit of time from that, you know, I think it really would have made the payoff like hit a lot harder. But
I kind of agree.
Yes, I can kind of see that.
Because it's like literally like, you know, 25, 35 seconds of just like that part.
Yeah, I mean, it is like a full 30 seconds, yeah.
Yeah, like that's way too long.
I feel like there's enough going on in there, though. Because, like, to me, the fact that it's that long, it's like building up that tension. Like, you know that something's coming. And then I feel that, like, when it finally hits, it's like you're busting a nut, you know?
I mean, yeah, but like I like the part itself. I just wish it didn't last that long. Like if it were 20 seconds, 15 seconds, I think it would have been a lot better, because then like 15 seconds is kind of like awkward enough to like not really know what's coming next. You know what I'm saying? Like even 10 seconds kind of, but I'd say like drag that out like 15, you know, really make the audience think like what's going to happen. Like, oh my gosh, like they're setting something up. Cool. But like 30 seconds, like at that point, you're just losing interest. Like after like the 15, 20 second mark, like people just kind of like fall off. It's like, oh, well, I guess I don't know.
I
It's
just feel
gonna
like
be
this song does like so many other cool things though that like overshadow that nitpick.
Yeah, but then if we're gonna nitpick hypothermia, like then I have to do
This
that.
is a
here.
better song than Hypothermia though.
I mean, it has
I agree.
good parts, but I just like if we're gonna be like, picking little things. Like I agree, it should be higher than hypothermia. Like I'll give you that, but like I don't think this is top 3. Like it has something that I find fundamentally wrong with it. Now, I mean, yeah, we could disagree here, but like objectively, like I could just see that really like turning a lot of people off, including myself. But that's just me. I mean, you guys can disagree with me, whatever. But yeah.
Kyle, is that the same issue you had with the song, or do you have another issue with the song?
I have an issue that's semi-linked to what he's saying.
Okay.
Because I can see where you're coming from, Brennan, with that. Because my gripe is that I feel like this song tries a lot of things. All of them very cool. At times, a tad overwhelming, but that's okay. That's just me. I'm just my tiny smooth brain can't handle it. But I think that
Pew! Bounce right off.
yeah, literally, it's just like it just rolled like like the visuals of like the wind going over the car. Like that's just put my smooth brain like a marble and just over the top. But anyways, fun tangent. Anyways, I wish that they spent more time on other cool parts of the song than spending so much time on that part. In general, I wish that they would have allotted their time better for different parts. Like there's that cool moment where it like shifts to almost like an acoustic thing for a second and immediately distorts it back out into the chorus. And I was like, but then we get like a lot of like that fast, crazy ham guitar bit. And I kind of wish that like that time was like shifted to other parts of the song. My main reason for not bringing the song up yet in talks of like what should go next is because I think objectively it does so many fucking cool things that like I have to give it props. It has to be up in like the upper half in my mind is where I immediately thought. But to me, the fact that this is like the only song on the album for me, it just doesn't feel like they had like a set thing. Like this whole album, there's just so many like they know exactly what they're doing, they know exactly where they're going. And with this one, it like some things felt like they were a little bit drawn out. Some parts felt a little bit shorter, and I was just like, man, I really feel like there was a missed opportunity to really just lean into these other cool things in the song as much. And this might be all a me thing, but I don't know. When I listened to it the first time, it didn't really catch me. On subsequent listens, more so. But overall, epic ending to an album. But in general, I just kind of wish they might have spent more time on different parts of the song.
It's fair.
But if you want to table it, man, fuck it.
No, I don't. Clearly, that's not happening at this point. But
you're here to table.
You've been
baby.
out-tabled.
No, I mean that's like if you guys are very against this being in the top 3, then it is not going to be in the top 3. That's just how the system works.
I feel like objectively, I'd be okay with it being like 3rd if it got into the top 3. But like, I can't see it being any higher than that in my mind. Personally,
I mean, I definitely don't think that this song is better than the song that we've already tabled. Like,
okay,
at all.
well, I mean, cool. Good.
Good. I would not say that this is like the best song on the album. This one just had a lot of standout moments for me.
That is very fair. You know what? Maybe I'm being too subjective with it. Maybe
I would like to hear. We'll leave this one alone for now. I would like to hear. What Brennan would like to table first. What are we actually going to table?
Scary moment.
I want to hear what you guys say to this since we just bombarded one table. But I do really dig Once Clinging to the Reeds. I feel like it's kind of a safe pick though. Like even I'm kind of hesitant on pulling the trigger.
I can get behind it. I like this song a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
I really like this one.
Yeah. Well then, I'll lock it in.
This was like the other one I was thinking of tabling, honestly.
Same.
Yeah.
It was.
I just pulled the trigger on the wrong one.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
what even?
I love that.
Yeah, no, we could definitely table that.
Oh yeah. All right, well,
So
I guess
do we-
Tyler, you're back up.
No, we've tabled 2, and
We
that is
tabled
all
2?
we're tabling.
I'm fine
So
with
we have
Oh, okay,
Um,
interesting.
No, we're gonna have to work with here. As we fall into deep waters, insatiate the senses, it found a different path, and where the air seemed to cease.
Damn, these songs all do something so different for me. Like they all hit such a different like vibe and a different groove, and they all work so well that I really don't know. I'm glad this is where we're at because
You know what song stands out amongst these ones to me? It found a different path because it is the one song that's very much like not the same vibe of the rest of the album. It leans more into the realm of Gold Necklace and just the vibiness and kind of the stripped back feel. And I was very, very into it. And I have so many positive notes about this song. I really like it.
You made me so happy when I was like, "What should I table?" It was those three. It was the two we've tabled, and it was that one. Oh,
this is another very good one. I don't know. I just like the vibe of this one a lot, and like the weird like synth chime things going on in the background too is just like it's very unique. I don't know what they are, but I dig them. I think it adds a lot to the song. Also, okay, this is like the one big thing, and I also have this note in the album ender because it does a similar thing, but this song also does it. It does this really cool thing like toward the end where like there's a background vocal mix and it's going like back and forth between both ears. And in this song, it's like singing like actual like lyrics and stuff, like, and it's kind of like going back and forth. Like, whoa, where's it going? And then in the album ender, there's like a similar thing, like toward the end, where it's like it's more aggressively kind of like swinging back and forth. And I was like, oh, it's so cool. So, yeah, neat choice. I really respect that on both of those songs. This one especially.
It's just like not something they had to do, but they did, and it's fun. You know,
yeah,
like
it just adds so much extra sauce to it, you know?
So are we going to talk about it, Find a Different Path, or do we want to talk about other ones?
I mean, we're already talking about it, so let's talk about it.
Fuck yeah. Can I gush for a second about this track?
Yeah, go for it.
Fucking
Bust
love
open this pack
track
of gushers, dude.
The tone shift immediately, it feels like you said Gold Necklace. I fucking love it. And I mean, like, in general, I think his, like, vocals here and there have, like, dipped into, like, Gold Necklace-y bits throughout the album. But in this one, man, oh, baby. I fucking love it. He's so fucking smooth. I love, like, just the swing where he has, like, the... like he has like they have like the weird like rhythmic like stops to like really keep you guessing. Like he's like tantalizing you. He's like, oh, I'm gonna tease you a little bit with these vocals. Oh, it's so tasty, and I love it. Fucking throughout, like especially the first half of the song, there are like moments where like the acoustic guitar comes in the mix, and it's just like, and I'm like, whoa, where'd that come from? It's just like they just sprinkled it in there because like it's like a little ballady bit. So of course acoustic guitar. In general, for me, like, as far as, like, why I love it, it is, like, such a great example, and Tyler, you bring this up all the time in other reviews. They know how to build a song up, break it down, they can just bring in the layers to, like, really help with that. They even fucking, like, have that moment where Kurt, like, has, like, the minor shift, where he holds out that one, like, long, like, minor, and I'm like, oh, it's so tasty, I fucking love it! It's just, they kill it with the way they just grow, bring it down. They're like, even in the like after that the minor note hit, they have like phrases in that next verse where it ends with like a really plucky guitar hit to like even accentuate like the ends of bits because of how flowy it is, to like really just like ground you again before you keep moving through the song. Oh man, it has a real guitar solo. Like a lot of these tracks just have like newly guitars going around, but this one actually like gives you a minute to be like, oh, guitar solo. It's gonna tease you like he has the whole song. It kind of comes in and out. It's so tasty. And my favorite thing about it is in that last bit of the track, Kurt like growls in the fucking like bits at the end. He's like, ah! And I'm like, oh yes, please, yeah, I love it. I love this. It's just such a great composition. Like at the end of the day, the way that they like, wrote it and they arranged it is just so smart, so cool, and just like from an objective standpoint. Oh, tasty. Oh,
hell yeah.
My rant's over. I'm sorry.
Do you like this song as much as we do, Brennan?
I mean, from a purely subjective point, No. But from an objective point, all right, like you guys do hit the nail on the head. Like this track is fantastic at building and like breaking down and like becoming something else, and then it has like cool little things like they didn't really need to add, but like they added it and made it like way cooler. This song, it just doesn't hit me very well. And that's just me. That's not the song. Like this is me not appreciating art. But like,
damn, drive the dagger yourself.
All right.
Because like listening to it, like it's just not for me. But like I appreciate like everything that it puts together, and I do think that it is a very well concocted song. It's just not my cup of tea, but it is worthy of probably top 3 if we're talking totally objective here.
That's fair. Well, which of these songs that we're working with right now would you say worked the most for you?
I do really like As We Fall into Deep Waters. I feel like this track, like if we're talking like Sentence Song, Clinging to the Reeds, and It Found a Different Path being the top 3, I'd like to see As We Fall into Deep Waters at least being in the conversation of like, you know, being the song that's looking in on the top 3. So like 4th or 5th. Because I think it's a really solid album opener. Doesn't do as like wild shit as like some other tracks. Like there's even tracks like we put in beneath this that I think may have like higher highs. But like I can't find a single chink in the song's armor. Like this is a very awesome opening track, and it kind of gives you a taste as like what the rest of the album's like, and also is very groovy in its own right. So like to me, like that song really hits.
That's valid.
Yeah,
I definitely think that of these ones that we have left, I think Insatiate the Senses is the weakest of the group, in my opinion. And I know y'all have a gripe with the album ender, but I would at least like the album ender to be above Insatiate the Senses. Like, at minimum. I think the other ones should probably go above it, objectively. But, like, this one, I think, of this group of songs, it's good, but I don't know. I think it was interesting with this one how, like, the lyrical flow and, like, the lyrical structure of, like, the verses is basically just, like, they took the same lyrical flow and structure of the end of the previous song and were like, what if we took this and just expanded it into, like, a more fleshed out thing. That's kind of what I got from that. And I kind of got that throughout, like, multiple parts of the album, honestly. It felt like they would kind of, like, find a cool new thing that they would, like, throw into the end of a song, and then, like, in another song on the album, they would kind of take, like, a similar approach, and then kind of, like, expand it into, like, a new thing, in another song, if that makes sense.
That's fair.
So I really like this song. And I like how at the end of the verses it gets very, like, smooth and vibey and stuff. But I just looking at my notes, like, this is the one that I think objectively offers the least. And it still offers a lot, but I think that compared to these other songs, it offers the least. I can understand how you guys could argue that it should be above the album ender because you have gripes with the album ender, but I think that your gripes are stupid. So I think this should be above that. All right, and this should be beneath that, and then their other ones can be on top of it. But this is just the way that I am viewing them.
You were talking about Insatiate the Senses, right?
Yes,
Just to be clear. Okay, cool. I just want to double check. To me, man, I was hoping it was gonna get high because I can see where you're coming from, where it doesn't offer a lot. But as far as, like, different grooves and vibes on this album go, this is going to be the one I come back to the most. I can already tell. It's that taste of that lick right away from the start of the song is just so fucking just, it hooks me in, baby. It just sucks me into it. I'm just like, oh, we got a little groovy little dance going on, and I just love how, like, the song will go from like a groovy, like slower, like flowy bit to like a little bit more like a punchy into like a full on like power chorus, and like can just shift between those like three different styles like with a good bit of ease. And that ending comes out of fucking nowhere to fucking blast your fucking brains out at the end. It's so cool. I kind of see what you're saying. I don't know. Brennan, what do you think about Insatiate the Senses? Because I really like the track. I think it's really fucking groovy.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to know what you think.
I mean, I like it. As far as like the structure, like this is probably, I don't want to say it's like DGD like, but like the instrumentals and like the vocals during the chorus, I could see being like old school DGD like.
I can kind of get behind that.
Yeah, and like I do like how it like ends and then like one last time comes out, like how like the two like intermix with each other, and it's like a weird take. It's weird because I'm in a weird spot because I do think that since Where the Air Seemed to Cease having gripes should make it go lower. But there are some times where the Air Seemed to Cease does things a lot better. Like it has like way like groovier parts and stuff. So I'm kind of in a pickle on whether I'd actually like vote for it to be beneath or above.
Here's my question. And I pitch it back to you, Tyler. Have you gotten to like fully talk about like the things you like about that album Ender, or did you just kind of like dabble into what you thought about it? Because I'm curious.
I don't remember.
Okay.
Honestly,
I
think that like I don't know if I really got into it because I feel like I just kind of backed off when you guys were like, no, and I was like, okay.
So I want you to sell me on it because I feel like you couldn't convince me.
Okay. I think that so like starting off, the song starts and we have a drum beat that's like teasing the idea of maybe dripping into trap, but not, and it's like it's tantalizing, they're like maybe we're gonna try some even weirder shit, but it's still like staying in like the same pocket of like what they've been doing. It's very cool. It's like edging you, right? Like the sex thing.
You've sold. No, sure.
And then it's just it's really driving and intense, and it does it post chorus of chorus 1 does the really crazy vocal thing that's like going betwixt your ears, and I'm like, that's really cool. That's like tickling the balls right there. If this song was like a sexual experience, that's what that would be. Because it's like, it doesn't need to be there, but it's really helping it get the job done, the fact that it's happening. And then like, I really like the hard like switch to the acoustic bit, because it's throwing you more variety. It's another loop on this roller coaster ride of a song that it's like, it doesn't have to be there, but it adds some spice. Guy Fieri would appreciate the zest being tossed in there, tossed in this bucket of chicken. And I don't know. I liked that. And I know you had a gripe about how you didn't think, you thought it held itself back because the acoustic bit was too short, especially compared to the part that y'all thought was too long. I actually like the fact that it's really short. It's just like a little blast of different, it's just like they just walked up and they're like, bam, and then they like go back into like a different part of the song, and I was like, that's cool. That takes some guff to just hit you with an acoustic bit and not come back to it. It's an artistic choice. It doesn't work for everyone, obviously, but it worked for me. I thought it was fun. I thought it was a cool choice. And then like at 2:30, the part that y'all think goes on too long, I think it's really cool. It's like the wildest switch up. I don't even really know how to describe it because it's like mixing a lot of different elements of a lot of different things, but you can tell that it's like building up to the climax of the song. And yeah, maybe it goes on a little too long, but, comparing this to the sexual experience that I think it is, you want it to last a little bit longer than maybe you think that it should, because it's you want it to last. You want to keep the good feelings going before you bust, right? So like this is that. It's just the holding out until the end, and then you get to the end, and there's like a big payoff, and you're like, wow, I'm coming. And then you get to the end. I think it's just a great album ender. I think it's a great song. I like it. I like the song.
So to continue your analogy, all right, with how like sexual the song is, all right, with that part taking way too long, that's like you're about to bust, and then it like takes way too long for her to like switch positions before you finally get to the final.
It's just you're plowing it in, and she's having a great time, and you're like, I can feel it coming, but we're not there yet. We got several more pumps in. So we're gonna keep this going for a few more minutes to make sure the job is done before we complete.
Like that's inaccurate because like nothing really happens like in that part compared to like doing the deed.
I think it's cool though. I like that part. I think that they're doing enough where it's like it's kind of like building up, and I don't know. I think that like I can understand how you can see that it like goes on too long. I get that. I understand that that's a great, but I think that's a subjective thing, and I think it's very nitpicky in the grand scheme of all the other things that this song does right. And I think that this song as a whole package offers a lot more than Insatiate the Senses. Even though Insatiate the Senses is a fun romp, in the sexual experience metaphors that we're going with, that's a quickie. And it's like, it's fun and it's cool and you might come back to it a lot more. But the other one is just like a night to remember. It's like the best night.
Yeah, that gets interrupted for like at 2.5 minutes in for half a minute. Like, man.
I love that whole entire like explanation of the sexual metaphor or simile, I don't know, was where the air seemed to cease. It felt really appropriate for that song.
That's the secret. It's about autoerotic
asphyxiation. Yes. My man's gonna go squanch somewhere. Like, oh jeez.
That is my argument for that song. Take it or not. That's where I stand.
I mean, I buy literally everything but my gripe. That's That's yeah. So I mean, in the grand scheme of things, yeah, I would probably put it above Insatiate the Senses. So even though that song
that's
doesn't,
all I'm fighting for.
Yeah.
It can stop immediately after that, and I'll be perfectly fine with that. But I at least want it to go above Insatiate the Senses.
I mean, I'm down with that.
As much as I personally love Insatiate the Senses, and like I feel like I'll probably come back to it more than perhaps the album ender, personally, I think objectively, Tyler, you bring up a lot of really good points about why the song's good. You could take out all of the sexual metaphor, and I'd still think you sold me on it actually being like objectively worthy. The other bit that you didn't make a note on that I really like from the track is every time it goes in the chorus, it's usually leaving like some interesting distorted thing that they did, because they do a lot of like distorted bits in the song. A lot of the verses in particular are distorted in different ways. They have like a guitar like do da-da, and like it goes like every time it hits, like the distortion leaves it until like the chorus hits, and like it has now like joined into like the normal sound for them, like the guitar does, and it's really cool. It's a really cool effect that kind of like gives you like that connector that, I'm okay with putting it over Insatiate the Senses. It hurts my heart a lot, but objectively it's probably the right thing to do. Probably the right thing.
I like Insatiate the Senses a lot. I just feel like this is the right call.
Probably.
And people in the comments will probably take your side and be like, Tyler, you fucking cuck. You don't understand good songs and stop talking about sex. And that's gonna be it. And you're like, someone with as large of teeth as you clearly does not know what he's doing in the sack.
I also think that there will be comments that'll just say, Tyler, stop talking about sex.
It'll be directly from my dad who listens to these.
But anyways, we lock it in like 6 and 5 then? Are we cool with that?
I would like to, yes.
I'm cool with this as well.
Cool.
So can we do a recap before we finish it off?
Yeah, we can.
We haven't done a recap.
Yeah.
Yeah, 10 is To Only a Few at First. 9 is One Last Time Like Hypothermia. 8 is Malfunctioning Parts. 7 is Screen Time Overload. 6 is Insatiate the Senses. 5 is Where the Air Seems to Cease. And we were down to the top 4, being The Long Sentence, Once Clinging to the Reeds, As We Fall into Deep Waters, and It Found a Different Path. We've kind of talked about every single one of these songs except for Once Clinging to the Reeds, but that's tabled, so that's obviously going over As We Fall into Deep Waters, and It Found a Different Path. I would like to throw out the argument that I like It Found a Different Path better than As We Fall into Deep Waters.
If I'm not mistaken, Brennan, did you talk about how you liked that song and wanted it to be like kind of lifted up within the middle 4 or whatever the fuck we called it?
He said he wanted it peeking in, I believe.
Peeking in?
Yeah, so as far as like looking like into the top 3, like I'm totally cool with that. Like the odd man out. I guess in this case, even man out.
Math. Nice.
So, yeah.
Damn, you're really bringing it home.
Yeah, really bringing this all together.
I'm in the same boat, I think, personally, as far as like, especially objectively, like when you look at the 2 tracks, I just really feel like the different path, or whatever the fuck, feels a different path, takes a different path. Found a different path.
Found a different path.
I found it.
It's just fucking different. I don't know.
It's just a different one, dude. I think it just does so much. Like it takes you so many different places. It's so well constructed, like on an objective standpoint. And I feel like it has to go over top. And not that the other song's bad. I know you reacted to it, Tyler, so you already like talked about it a lot, and Bernie talked about it before. But in general, I mean, I pretty much I mirror everything you guys said about it. I think the drums really carry the song for me overall. But I think in general, I think you said it, Brennan, the track just really does like set you up for like this really awesome album to come. It goes in between different things, different like moods of like the slower bits where like Kurt gets to have like this more like jazzy funky bit to his voice, and then like the more aggressive stuff that Coda is known for. It also doesn't like overdo it. Like I really feel like those like subdued bits are very, I don't want to say plain, but like they just don't have as much going on in them as I think other parts of the album do, which I think an album opener should do. I think it's like a really good choice for it to do at that point in the album. It gives you enough to really appreciate it, to get it like up there, like peeking in, like you said. But not too much that you're like, oh, like you said, Tyler, this is sexual. I'm not blowing my load too early, baby. I'm not letting it all go too early. So it gives you a taste. I like that.
Nice. Well, I guess we'll lock that in, and then we're on to the top 3.
Wow.
It Found a Different Path, Once Clinging to the Reeds, and We Slowly Lose Hope for Things to Come. And I think that It Found a Different Path is third of these 3, as much as I like it. And I know Brennan is going to agree immediately because...
Yeah. Yes. He says, yes. Yeah, that should be number 3.
Great.
Yeah. I was kind of hoping maybe you would like try to push it to 2, but if you guys are already both in agreement with 3, I know that Brennan's not going to want it to get the 2.
I don't even want it to be higher than 3, because Once Clinging to the Reeds is way better.
Fucking banging, dude.
It's super good.
It's tight. It's a really good song. Brennan, I'd like you to talk about this song since you were the one who tabled it. You get first dibs at gushing.
The parts like before the choruses, like where like the guitars make like little runs, like going up and shit. Like that is next level. like we've heard it before, like we've seen, heard that even from like Will Swan and company like before, but like how it impacts like the rest of the track and how it like sets up the choruses coming in and stuff is like absolutely next level. That and plus like, it has some of the strongest choruses on the record. Like, I could just gush. Like this song is amazing. I mean, I'm like out of words. Like I think like if I could, I would have put this at number 1 like right at the bat. Like this is like I thought it was safe because I didn't know if you guys were like where your heads were after the initial like debates and shit, but like this track is banging, dude.
I will shoot you down a little bit right off the bat. I don't think that this is the number one track.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
all right.
also
I'm biased kind of, but like I
No.
think that We Slowly Lose Hope for Things to Come is like the best Royal Coda song ever written.
No,
in my personal
look,
opinion.
I get that. Like, hey, we're here to discuss. You know? I really like Once Clinging to the Reeds.
Yeah, it's a good song. It is a very good song. All your points are extremely valid, for sure. The only like minuscule, extremely subjective knock I have against Reeds is that I don't really like the sort of like yelly vocals that he throws out at the beginning of the chorus. They're not as sonically pleasing to me as the rest of the song, but it's such a minute thing that it does not like take away from the song as a whole at all.
Yeah, I mean,
And
I can see where you're coming from.
yeah,
it's an extremely subjective thing.
Yeah, like I said, I disagree, but like I said, to each their own, man. Like, I get that.
Yeah, it's not something I would try to like hold it down with because it's like really minor and really subjective.
Oh yeah,
Like, no one else has that problem. It is just like
I just really wanted the song to crack top 3, like realistically.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you know, we're already up there, so I'm happy.
yeah.
To me, with this track, two big takeaways for me is, I mean, without saying everything Brennan said, because yes, Brennan, I mean, 100%. Like, I just feel like when you listen to the song, it like takes the words from you, and you're just like, you're just bathing in it. It's
let it
so
pour over me, dude. Like,
it's so tasty. But my like 2 main bits are that the man threw out the word thrice in there, and I love it. And number 2 is that I feel like this song, to me, and why I think it actually is number 2, is that this song is such a great Royal Coda song. It gives you everything you look for in Royal Coda. It blasts you with really great, like, everything that you want in a Royal Coda song. It goes different places. It's got the really great noodly bits. It gives you the groovy, funky bits at times. It breaks it down and the bridge to build you back up. Like, it's, like, to a T, a Royal Coda track that I love. However, to kind of transition us into the talk of the only other song we haven't talked about yet, the Sentence song, I think this song gives you everything you want from a Royal Coda song, like I said about the other, but then it tries shit. Like, it does so many other things on top of it that aren't, like, overbearing, like I said a little bit subjectively about the album ender. It doesn't do anything that feels, like, a little too out of their wheelhouse, like I said, with, like, the distorted slam poetry things. Like, what it tries, it's enough in, and they nail it so perfectly that it heightens what I'm looking for in a Royal Coda track. It moves the bar up for me in like Royal Coda of like, oh shit, this is what is like a next level track from them. And that's absurd. I didn't think that was possible. There are tracks off of Compassion, fucking Even If, the single, is a fucking banger as well. Can't believe it's not on this album. But I think that, you know, this song, it moves the bar up. And that's crazy to me. I didn't think that was that possible because they're that good of a band. They did it. This song does it. And that's why I think it wins that edge out over the top of Once Clinging to the Reeds for me.
And I agree.
I buy that. Yeah.
Yeah. I won't say anything about the Sentence song because I have already said everything about the Sentence song. And my opinions have not changed since the first time that I laid ears and eyes upon it. It's in my opinion, it's the best song they ever wrote. And I was like, it's going to be hard to top. And lo and behold, they got close, but they couldn't top it. It's a great album, but that is the peak of the album. And I stand by that sentiment.
I mean, as far as like things to say about it, because I know like Tyler, you already said everything. If you want to see it, check out his reaction. You can do that by going to our video feed, our YouTube channel. If you see that button, is the subscribe button. It's not subscribe. Why don't you hit that subscribe button? But if you watch his video, he makes comments about certain parts of the song that I just think are like super incredible. And I kind of like alluded to like them trying things. Specifically, I love the shouty rap second verse bit that he does. I think it's so cool.
Yeah.
It takes something that I feel like they splice in there, like at the beginning of the Hypothermia song, where like I was just like, oh yeah, that's gonna get me going at like a live show. Like the moment that hits at a live show, dude, everyone's gonna go fucking nuts, just like screaming it like a John Mess lyric kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's gonna be so hype.
People are gonna bust into like a fucking like not a mosh pit, like the stuff that they do at like ska shows, like a skank pit or whatever. They're just gonna start like fucking like, throwing down, you know, two-stepping and shit. Like it's gonna be fun.
It'll be a push pit. Like
Yeah.
Push pit. Or I'll be like that pit I this is random. On TikTok, there was like a pit at a show recently where they started playing Uno in the middle of the pit, and they started doing the pit around them, and they were just actually playing Uno in the middle of the pit.
What
you can find
band
that, I
was
guess,
this
throw it
for?
up.
What
I
show
don't
was
know.
this?
I just saw it randomly late night scrolling on TikTok, but I was like, that's rad as fuck.
That's pretty cool.
It's balls. But anyways, the other main things I want to talk about with the track are the fact that like just moment where the bass just gets to be fucking tasty as shit. You know, like they didn't need to do that. They did it. It's just it's what I want. It's what everybody wants. I mean, come on. And then the best part to me is the fact that the whole song is catchy. It's groovy. It tries things. It's so epic. One of the tastiest choruses and the catchiest choruses in my mind. And then at the very end, they're like, but wait, baby, we got layered vocals and they're tasty. And they just fucking bring it to you. The second time that you come through with the layered vocals, you've got like the really awesome, like shredding guitar in the background too. It's just like, oh, you just does it for me, baby. It does it for me. That's it.
Yeah.
That's real Coda.
That's it. Guys, we're done. It's over. The song we thought would win won. And the other songs are also good and lost, but they're here and they're in order, and we've done it. We did our job. It's done. Now I get to recap and yell at a bunch of people who aren't watching anymore, because this is where people stop watching the video if they made it this far. But I'm gonna do the recap, then we're gonna get out of here. So,
oh boy.
At number 10, we have To Only a Few at First. At number 9, we have One Last Time, like Hypothermia. At number 8. We have Malfunctioning Parts. Shit, I fucked up my phone. At number 7, right? 7?
I think.
Are we on 7? I think we're on 7. At number 7 is Screen Time Overload. At number 6 is Insatiate the Senses. Yeah. Number 5 is Sex the Musical, a.k.a. Where the Air Seemed to Cease. Number 4 is As We Fall Into Deep Waters. Number 3 is It Found a Different Path. Number 2 is Once Clinging to the Reeds. And number 1 is We Slowly Lose Hope for Things to Come. And it's over. We ranked Royal Coda's album.
Yeah.
It's over. It's done.
We did
Wow. We've done it.
If you haven't clicked out yet, thanks for not clicking out yet. And thank you for watching. And thank you for doing all the things that we know you're going to do. You're going to go down there and you're going to like the video if you liked it. And if you hated the video, you're going to go down there and you're going to like the video out of spite. And if you, you're going to go down there, you're going to comment below your personal ranking of these songs on this album, and you're going to tell us why we're wrong about why we ranked our stuff the way that we ranked it. Kyle, you're raising your hand. Yes,
thank you,
Kyle.
I have an added challenge for the comments this time, just a fun little thing to spice things up. I saw a lot of people being like, what the fuck, Even If isn't on this album. When you make your list, I want you to, for fun, throw where Even If would have landed if it would have been on this album. That's a fun little one in there.
Very fun. Yeah.
I don't even know where it'd be for me, personally, maybe.
Yeah, we don't even have time to fucking tear open that bag of chips, but you guys do, so you can have fun with that in the comments. Well, that's a great idea, Kyle. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, Kyle.
And since you brought that up, that also reminded me that you exist and the socials exist. So go ahead and follow us on all of our social medias. They exist. I don't look at them, but Kyle posts on them. And he does a great job with that. We recently posted one of him airing his ass at my old apartment, and it got a wildly large amount of views compared to what we normally get, which is amazing. So yeah, go follow all our socials and watch Kyle air his ass out. Maybe we'll post more of that stuff in the future. We'll just invest in air conditioning units and Kyle's creamy thighs. And you can follow us on there and see when we post those. Also, make sure you're subscribed to the Talks a Lot Boys if you're not subscribed already, because that would just make us smile and make us happy. We're very close to hitting the 420 threshold. It is a sub number that we threw out a very long time ago as a joke, which we never thought we would even come remotely close to. And now, in the year of our Lord 2022, we are only a handful of subscribers away from reaching the funny drug number. And I'm so excited that we might actually hit 420 subscribers. That's so fucking cool. Make it happen, but not too quickly, because we want to be able to see that nice 420. If it gets to 421 before we can see the 420, it'll be all for naught. One of you will have to unsubscribe so we can see it again.
I will unsubscribe just for that one picture.
Great.
Oh,
Cool. Well, that's going to do it for today. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sticking around and being on this wild ride of throwing out our garbage fucking opinions on the internet. We really appreciate your viewership and your comment-ship and your friendship. We've been the Talks a Lot Boys. We'll talk a whole lot more next time. Bye.